like back in the past where people were using raw material from next the house or next the village, and were using this material to build a house, to build furnitures, or to construct with. And I think we are back in this paradigm in a way. We want really to use the trash that we are collecting every day, and now it's the material we have. We don't want to use anymore to take anymore from nature. We have to take from our own trash and work with nature to be able to construct beautiful things, and yeah.
And that's the story we want to give. That's just the story of like giving back to nature, like taking the impact of humanity and giving it back to the nature. That may be what we are trying to give to the people, and that's the story that we are giving to people, you know.
Yeah, it's not just a material vase somehow. We really want to kind of like sell and show people what is the bigger picture of where they live, what they consume, what are their waste made of, and where their waste go. Actually, be really conscious about everything in their daily life. So in this vase, we see more than just a vase for plants. We see an object that really is a symbolic of what we can do when we respect our trash and when we see value in it.
I'm Martin de Teff. I'm an architect, and I was specialized in robotics in an architecture school.
I'm Paola Garnase. I worked quite some time in studios in Paris, in architecture studios, because I'm also an architect. And I was always very interested in biology and how we can work with living organisms in architecture.
And I'm Pierre de Pingon, and I'm an architect, and I worked in an architecture company where I worked on many sustainable projects and ecosystemic projects where we were thinking about how to integrate sustainability in architecture and in cities.
So Blast started 1 year ago with the will to kind of like find new possible relationships between nature and new technologies. So we really worked at the beginning on how we could 3D print living organisms in architecture and how we could use it to like create architectural elements. So we worked with 3D printing of mycelium, and we were trying to make both objects and kind of like columns. We worked on different kind of columns that we could integrate in projects of architecture.
I think the first project we developed was to be able to print shapes, forms. So we started with like walls, columns at a little scale. So we started with a little 3D printer, then we scale up the process with a large scale 3D printer. And we started to change a little bit and to mold elements to be able to have more precise shapes and to be able to replicate these shapes.
Yeah, I think like working with nature and try to understand how nature can be like part of something more than just like experimenting, but can be like part of a cycle. We try to integrate this mechanism of ecosystem into our production, and like try to working with waste and how we can copy nature and recycle every waste we find and integrate them into a natural ecosystem like forest or any natural environment, and try to re-implement it in the city and create an architecture from this waste.
So we started the project Lovely Trash about 3 months ago. We got very interested in coffee cup waste because it is a huge problem in the UK. There's like 30,000 tons of coffee cup waste each year, and they're very hard to recycle. So we thought, okay, how could we, with a very natural process, kind of like reuse these cups? So right now we're using mycelium to digest the cups. We create a substrate that they will eat and create objects and furniture with that material. So we got very interested in how we could kind of create an ecosystem in the city where we could take the waste and give back something that would be positive and something that would be beautiful, to show to people that waste can be a very interesting resource today to create new and beautiful things. At the moment we collect the coffee cups directly from coffee shops. So we go around West London. We're based in Shepherd's Bush. So we talk to every coffee shop we can find and kind of try to integrate people into the project and talk to them about what a problem it is, coffee cup waste, and how they can really take part in our project by giving us their coffee cups, And it's been very nice. It's been very interesting because people come back, to give their coffee cups. They feel really involved and they are really enthusiastic about the project. So it's very nice.
I think last week we wanted to make photographs of the vase in a coffee shop, and it was the first time we show the vase to the coffee cup people, to the coffee shop people, and they were very impressed of what we can do with this coffee cups waste and how we can transform it.
I think we saw our vase. We are trying to develop this process with the recycling waste, and we see it how when people buy our vase, we want to show them that they are part of an ecosystem. They are a active consumer, and they can choose to create with their very local environment. And it can be possible for an economy to be really circular, to take just your daily waste and transform it into your daily object and daily furniture. And I think when we sell our vase, we see it as a symbol of this ecosystem and all this story that we try to create. And people actually are very really engaged when we explain our project, explain our stories. They want to be part of it, and they want to create something more and to act in a way. So we are really happy with that. I think people like to not just buy the real raw material, but they like to buy the story all around that, and to okay, it's just coffee cup waste, but there is an artisanal and craft work around it. There is a community that building around it, and it creates some value because they are participate to something that is more than just the raw material that is a coffee cup waste. And we are experimenting how people really in a way to just give value at something that is just trash, and that's why we create lovely trash to see that trash can be lovely again, can be reused again, and can be part of something more than just being wasted. Okay, so that project is called Tree Tower, and that's a little bit our final goal and what we try to create. It's a new kind of program in the city that is taking all of the waste of the city and transforming into an architecture made of waste, and a 3D printed garden where people can just walk and have a little lymph. I don't know how to say.
Pullman? No.
Pullman?
To breathe,
somewhere to breathe in the city and recreate oxygen. And we like this symbolic of this waste transformed by nature that recreate oxygen, that recreate something for the city that is more than just a park, but that's the symbol of what we can create all together just by recycling trash and recycling things. So it's a new kind of program that we want to create in the future. And
even the formal aspect of this program is in every product we do, we are inspired by nature. For example, for the vases, we're inspired by the cactus, and to be able to construct the more possible surface to be colonized. For example, for this tree project, all the structural system is inspired by nature, by the L system, so the way that trees are growing, and we are always taking inspiration from nature. So we are always inspired by nature in the way we design. For example, for the vases, we are taking conductive shapes from cactus, and these shapes will be augmenting the surface to colonize with the mushrooms. And we are also, for example, taking inspiration from the trees, the L system, the growing parameters of trees, to be able to structuralize our future architecture project.
Before coming at Open Cell, we were kind of experimenting in our own kitchen, and it was we really wanted to kind of scale up our project and go deeper into our research. So coming to Open Cell really gave us that opportunity to kind of have a more professional kind of way of working with mycelium, and also working with more, I would say, local questions. For example, with the coffee cups and everything, we really have this idea of trying to implement the project in a district which is Shepherd's Bush, and in a city which is London, and really root the project in something very concrete somehow.
I think like Open Cells, thanks to all the facilities that they give to us, like give us the little push to create a project that was like starting from in our kitchen, like really raw, and to become a real project, like with locality and like understanding how how I would say business can have a reality and become something real in the real world. So Open Cell give us this possibility, and we are happy to share with the communities that is we are sharing information about mycelium, about like biology, and it really pushed us to be there and to have this opportunity to work here.